In honor of the 49ers winning their division last week, we're going to take a tour of the sports office with all its 49er paraphernalia. Okay, let's start over here next to the hat rack. I like this hat. This hat is a radio built into it. Great for listening on the radio when you're watching the game, especially when you're at the game. Here's the hutch with the Steve Young and Joe Montana plates and figures. Here's the Joe Montana plate. Box of Wheaties, actual Wheaties in it. And the Steve Young plate. And 49er 18-wheeler, 65 Mustang, and the Jet, the 49er liner. This is kind of cool. It's like on the blimp, fiber optics. Then we've got each of the covers of the San Francisco Chronicle sporting green for each of the 5 Super Bowl wins. A neat letter here from Carmen Policy. He was the 49ers president at the time. He came to the Ahwahnee with other executives. They had a fishing derby. They had t-shirts that I liked, and he said he'd send me one. I put him on a tour, and later he sent me this letter with the shirt. Signed it in 1992. It's kind of neat. Here's the first Super Bowl collage. It was made in 1982 when they beat Cincinnati. It was the first Super Bowl win. Super Bowl 16. And Joe Montana was on the cover of Time magazine that year. And then in 1985, they played Miami at Stanford Stadium and won that by quite a bit, 38-16. And they were 18-1, which at that time was a record. And up here are some fan plates, cartoons of 49er fans. I like that one. And the 49er Streamliner, 49er train, HO gauge, actually has a transformer and works. 14 cars. I haven't displayed all 14, but here's a sample. And here's the third Super Bowl collage. They played Cincinnati again and won. This was the closest of their Super Bowl scores. Joe Montana threw a touchdown pass to John Taylor with only 34 seconds left, and they won 20-16. That was great. That was a great game. And then it was back-to-back, so I did a play on Back to the Future because the films were popular in 1989 and 1990. And so they went back to the Super Bowl in 1990 after the 89 win against Cincinnati, and they beat Denver 55-10. Here's Joe Montana's Sports Illustrated magazine covers. That's when he retired. This is when he was the sportsman of the decade. And then we have the Joe Knows Super Bowls, the famous logo. Joe Knows Super Bowls. And this was a game against Philadelphia. He threw 4 touchdown passes in the fourth quarter, and they beat Philadelphia, 1989. Okay, now we go over to the Steve Young business. First of all, before Steve Young, we've got the article of explaining the induction to the Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame for Joe Montana and Ronnie Lott in July of 2000. And then here's Steve Young's stats when he won his MVP award for Super Bowl 29. Here's a perpetual calendar my sister gave me. And here's the collage for the 49ers Super Bowl when they played San Diego Chargers and won 49-26. And Steve was chosen as the MVP. And the theme of this collage is the monkey on Steve Young's back, which was always Joe Montana, since he'd won 4 Super Bowls and Steve had won nothing yet. So I wrote a limerick, and here it is. No more monkey. There once was a guy named Young, a hero virtually unsung, but the Niner hung in there, and bowl night threw 3 pair. Now cable car bells will be rung. He threw 6 touchdown passes. It was a record, still is. Here's the Shorty Niners. Here's the Jerry Rice photo. Here are the Steve Young covers of Sports Illustrated when they won their Super Bowl. It's a super season for number 8. New uniforms there. I didn't like the white. And then I forgot to show you something over here. And it is the 49ers Christmas card. After they'd won all those Super Bowls, they did a take on the 12 days of Christmas. When they get to the 5 golden rings, well, nothing better than 5 Super Bowl rings. And this is a photograph I took at the Hall of Fame and got it signed by Joe Montana. After my colleague Linda Dinwoody took it to Napa to a golf tournament with her husband, and Joe Montana was there and he signed it for her. And so I have it now and I'll never sell it. Here's the signature. Picture of Eddie DeBartolo, who introduced Joe at the induction ceremony.